everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those who are new here, I'm Rachel and this is Rex. Rexy, look how big you've got since the last video we did. Tell everybody how old you are. I'm 8 months. So Rex is now 8 months old, very nearly 9 months. He's been with us for 6 months now, so I thought we'd give you a bit of an update about how he's getting on. As you can see in the last video, I watched it back and to see what he was like as a pup, and he was just chewing my hair, wouldn't sit still. He very much loves a cuddle now. He's a lot calmer. He's a bit tired. It's a Saturday and we've been out to the garden centre today, haven't we? We've had lunch at the garden centre, we've had a nice walk, and he's just sort of settling into his sleepy evening phase, but I'm sure we can show you some tricks and things, can't we, Rexy? Yeah? Okay. So let's get into it. Let's see how Rexy's getting on at 8 months old. So I thought we would start off by showing you some of the things that Rex has learned to do over the last 6 months. So last time he was just a tiny little pup and he was just about learning to sit and lay down. It's a little bit weird, but in those 6 months he's kind of regressed a little bit with the lay down trick, but he does a very good sit now. He does paw and other paw. He does a really good stay, so when you tell him to stay he will stay put where he is. And he's really good with his recall. So when we call his name, we say Rex here. If he's off the lead on a walk, he'll come trotting straight back to us, so that's really good. So let's show off some tricks, shall we, Rexy? You've already smelt the treats in my hand, haven't you? Okay. Oh, you're already sitting. Come here. Look. What's this? Come here. Sit. Good boy. Can you give me paw? Good boy. Can you give me other paw? Oh, I normally switch hands for this, but the other hand's got my camera in it. Paw. Good boy. Other paw. Good boy. There you go. It's a treat. Should we see if we can lay down today? Sit. Down. Oh, good boy. Getting the hang of that again, are we? Getting the hang of that again. Super. Rexy, what's this? Sit. Stay. So if we do like a palm out gesture, he will pretty much stay as long as I tell him to. Looks me dead in the eye while I do it to make me feel guilty. Here. Here. Good boy. And we can also do, so come here, Rexy. Sit. Now if I put the treat on the floor, he is normally pretty good. Stay. 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 Oh, he's too cute. Good boy. Go on, that means you can get it. Good boy. Go on then. Go on then, you silly sausage. Good boy. Oh, you're such a good, clever boy. Well done. Well done. So from that you can see that he's a very clever little boy. So when I last did a video about Rex when he was just a few weeks old, we were using the Zigzag app. Now I sort of tailed off using that a little bit. I did pay for a year subscription. It has been quite useful for the access that you get to behavioural specialists to ask certain things as well. So that part of it has been quite useful, but there were sort of a lot of things on there that I didn't really feel like I needed to teach Rex, and where he was so good with his recall off the lead, that was sort of the main thing that we needed to crack. And then I haven't taught him sort of too many extra special tricks or anything yet. I suppose there's still time for that, but he can do the basics, and that's what we need him to do. And he is a really good boy and he does listen really well. So yeah, we've sort of left it at that for now, and we'll see. Oh, thank you for my kisses. We'll sort of see where we go from there. So yeah, training wise, he's been a really good boy. The only thing we've got a little bit of a sticking point with is toilet training still. Most of the time, I said 90% of the time, he is absolutely great, but he hasn't really got into the habit of asking us to go out. So sometimes he will just go and wait by the back door, but he doesn't make a noise. So if we haven't noticed him leave the room, then we don't know that he's gonna go, that he needs to go. And he drinks an awful lot, so he needs a wee a lot of the time. But that's fine. The occasional accident is bound to happen. Like, we do have to remember that he's still only 8 months old, and you know, most of the time he's doing what he needs to do outside. So the occasional accident is still happening, but hopefully that will tail off soon as well. Fingers crossed. So one thing I thought we could do in this video is talk you through some of Rex's favourite things at 8 months old. So he's got a few favourite different chews and things that he likes, got a few favourite toys, and yeah, just some different things that he likes. So I thought I'd talk you through some of those things. So the first thing are some of the treats that he really enjoys. So he's never really been a massive chewer. He, fingers touch wood, hasn't chewed sort of any of our furniture or anything, and we got a lot of new furniture when we moved, so we were a little bit worried about that. But he hasn't really, he loves his toys, he chews his toys to death and ruins them, but he doesn't really do a lot of chewing. But he was doing, like he's going to show you now, he was doing quite a lot of like nibbling our fingers. Not hard, it doesn't hurt at all, but when we wanted to redirect him from that, we bought some yak chews. We bought the Yakkers brand, and they're sort of hardened Himalayan yak milk, which sounds disgusting, but they look quite inoffensive. I haven't got any to show you at the moment. I've made a delivery, I've made an order of them, and they're coming tomorrow. But they're just sort of little sticks of really hardened yak milk, and they take him absolutely ages to get through. So at times, sort of when he comes on the bed in the morning, and if he's full of beans, then we give him a yak chew, and he would settle with that for what seems like hours on end. They're good for him sort of in the car, to keep him busy. So sort of any time that we need to keep him occupied, like when we leave the house and all of that sort of thing, the yak chews are absolutely perfect for that, and he absolutely loves them. He does not get bored of them. And once they get down, like he chews them, it takes him weeks to chew it down to sort of a small bit. And then once it's down to that small size, you can put them in the microwave for about 20 seconds and they puff right up, and it looks like a massive like pork scratching. And he absolutely loves that as well. So that's sort of how they end up going down to absolutely nothing. He can eat the whole thing. So that's one of his favourite things. Another chew that he loves are the Whimsies alligator. They're alligators or crocodiles, I can't remember which one. But they're like dental chews. He really likes those. They do little toothbrush ones as well, but you like the alligators now, don't you? Because you're getting a bit of a bigger boy and they last you a bit longer. So yeah, they're really great. Again, I haven't got any to show you because they're coming from our Amazon order tomorrow as well. But yeah, there are a couple of the chews that he really loves. He loves toys. Anything with a squeaker in it is Rex's new best friend. However, he has got into a little bit of a tendency. You're tired. A little bit of a tendency of chewing them until they're ruined. We're currently looking after Craig's parents' dog as well, Benji, who's a border terrier. And between them, I think we've thrown away about 5 toys in the last 4 weeks. They absolutely love just chewing them, getting the squeaker out of them, getting the stuffing out of them and starting to eat it. So we're sort of going for more toys like this now. What's this? Because the plush ones he just gets the stuffing out of. So this is good for his teeth, it's quite sturdy, he can't ruin it. So yeah, we're going for some more toys like this now, but he loves a squeaker. My mum bought him a light up squeaky ball for Christmas, and we haven't got it out too much yet because I don't want him and Benji to ruin it together, but he had it out for a little while last weekend and he absolutely loved it, so that's going to be a big hit. So then I wanted to talk about his food as well. Breakfast and dinner time are some of Rex's favourite times of day. So he has breakfast when Craig gets up about 8 o'clock, I think it is normally, and then dinner is 5:30 on the dot. So from about 5:15 he sits looking at Craig going, when is it dinner time? And if it's a minute after 5:30 he knows, don't you? It's getting close to 5:30 now actually, so he might be starting to get a little bit restless soon. Oh, it's 25 past. Nearly dinner time, Rex. So the food that he's on at the moment, we did a bit of a swap of his food. We were originally using the food that his breeder gave him, which was partly wet food and partly kibble. He was on sort of specialised, although he's a cavapoo, he was having like cocker spaniel kibbles and nature diet pouches that the breeder gave him. We were recommended Hills by our friend Georgia, who works for Hills Pet Food. It's a science plan, so it's got all of the nutrients and things that he needs, and we swapped it over gradually because you shouldn't change their food straight away. So we sort of started adding in some of the new food, and now he absolutely loves his dinner. He was absolutely wolfing it down in like 5 minutes. Not 5 minutes, that's about how long it takes to eat now. He was wolfing it down in less than a minute a lot of the time. So for Christmas, you got a slow feeder bowl, didn't you? It's sort of a plastic bowl that has raised bits in it. So you sort of spread his food around, and it's a little bit harder for him to get out. It takes him a little bit longer, and he likes the challenge of it as well. So that's one of Rex's favourite things at the moment. Another one of his favourite things is his crate for bedtime. So, oh, what have you heard? Nothing? Can we get on with our lives? False alarm? False alarm. So his crate for bedtime is in... Do you want to get down? Go on then. Gonna get down? Are you staying? Okay. His crate for bedtime is in our bedroom. So I think I spoke in the last video. We originally had it in the kitchen, and then he was just howling the house down. So it's now lives in the corner of our bedroom. He has a blanket over it, so it's sort of his little safe space. He has a little cushion in there. He has a couple of t-shirts of mine and Craig's that smell like us, so that he doesn't get lonely. And he always has a couple of little like plush toys in there that he sort of cuddles at night, which is very cute. And he absolutely loves it in there. So as soon as we come up to bed now, he trots straight into his crate, or if he's on the floor, all you've got to do is go, Rex, bedtime. No, it's not bedtime now, don't worry. And he just trots into his little crate, and we shut him in there. And he absolutely loves it. He doesn't cry at all. He absolutely loves it in there. And then he's allowed, so on a weekday, I sort of get up about 6:15 and take him out for a wee. And then from then he's allowed up on the bed. So he does get a little bit of cuddle time in the mornings. You like a Saturday morning snuggle as well, don't you, baby bear? So yeah, he's doing really well with sleeping. He sleeps through the night absolutely fine. No need to sort of go out for the toilet or anything. He holds his bladder well overnight. Yeah, but he absolutely loves his crate, which is great for us. We are thinking about that we will get rid of it at some point, and he'll just have a bed either in the corner of the bedroom or downstairs. I don't think he'll be too fussed about being away from us now at night, because you just like your sleep, don't you, mate? Yeah, so that's another one of Rex's favourite things, is his crate at bedtime. And the final thing I noted down that Rex absolutely loves is his enrichment toys. So he has a couple of different ones. We originally got him sort of a licky mat, and he had a Kong. He was never very good at getting things out of the Kong, especially when I put peanut butter in it, but he loves the licky mat. And it keeps him going for ages. And he also has this little puzzle ball. So it's just a sort of hollow ball, plastic ball, and it has a little slot for you to put the treats in, and then you can sort of change the difficulty by moving the little dial around for how easy it is to get the treats out. And he literally plays football with it around in the kitchen to get the little treats out. So that's always really good as well for if we're sort of leaving the house, fill that with treats and let him roll that around the kitchen. He doesn't often notice that I've gone out of the house before, realised I've forgotten something, had to go back in, get what I was looking for, and he hasn't even noticed that I've gone back in the room because he's just so busy throwing his little ball around. So that's perfect for him. And he has another one as well with little plastic bones, and he has to lift the bones to be able to get his treats. So they're really good for him. They keep him busy, and it's just a bit more of a fun way for him to have his treats. So yeah, that's all of Rex's favourite things at 8 months old. So although Rex is a very, very good boy a lot of the time, we do have a few things that we still need to work on as we're coming towards the end of this puppy phase. So he'll be 1 in just over 3 months' time. And by then I'd like some of these things to hopefully be a little bit more sorted. So one is barking at other dogs while we're out on walks. Now Rex is a very, very friendly dog, but his way of being friendly is barking at dogs that he can see. Some dogs are okay with that, some dogs really aren't, and some owners can be a little bit tentative around Rex if he's barking lots. He often just wants to say hi, and once he's given the dog a sniff, he stops barking, and usually sort of halfway through a walk, he sort of gets used to the fact that he doesn't need to bark to say hello to a dog. Having said that, that's mainly when he's on the lead. If he's off lead, he approaches quite sensibly, and obviously he's got really good recall, so we're absolutely fine with him being off lead, because I know that he'll come back to me every time I call him, which is nice. To be able to trust him to do that. So yeah, that's one thing that I would like him to get a little bit better at, is not barking at every other dog that he sees. Another thing we want Rex to get a little bit better at is being alone. He is very much a people person. He's really cuddly, and he just wants to be around us all the time, and often that's not a problem. Craig works from home, so he has someone with him pretty much all the time, but I don't know if that maybe makes it harder when we do have to leave him. So we can probably leave him now for sort of 4 hours at a time, and he'll be fine sort of toilet wise. We do have, oh, it's dinner time, isn't it? In a minute. We have like a Ring camera that I set up indoors, and that's been quite good because it does show me that he can be okay at points. He does do a little cry sometimes, but a lot of the time he does sort of settle down on his bed as well. And we have, for days when Craig has to go into the office, which is normally only about once a month, we have a wonderful dog walker, dog sitter who comes and visits him sort of twice throughout the day. He gets a walk one time and he gets sort of a home visit the other time, so he does get a bit of company throughout the day as well. So that's really nice. So that's one other thing we'd like him to get a little bit better at, is being alone for a little bit longer, but that will come as he gets a bit more used to it as well. Whoa, I got my little love puppy. My little Rexy bear. Well, thank you for kisses, yes. And then the final thing we need to have a little bit of work on is brushing. Now, Rex is a cavapoo, so he's got very, very curly hair that does have a tendency to get matted, so he does need brushing often. But when Mummy's got the brush, you don't like it, do you? He's getting a little bit better. He's a good boy at the groomers, but the first time we went to the groomers, she gave us a bit of homework to sort of work on brushing his chest because he didn't like that. So one tip she gave me, I'll see if you let me do it now, is that if you sort of hold the hair here when you're brushing him, that doesn't hurt him at all, although he doesn't like it. But if you sort of hold him underneath the chin, that little bit of fur underneath the chin, it keeps him nice and still for trying to brush him. He is getting better. I bought a different brush as well. So I had one of the sort of metal pronged ones, which was really, really pulling on his fur, and he didn't like it. So instead I bought one of the Tangle Teaser sort of plastic toothed ones, which gets through his fur a lot better. It probably doesn't get the knots out quite as well. And I bought some detangling spray as well. So yeah, he's getting a little bit better at having a brush, but I don't do it as often as I probably should because he makes such a fuss about it. And when he so he had his castration op a couple of months ago, just before Christmas, and when he had his cone on, he was feeling very, very sorry for himself. And when Craig took him back to the vets for a checkup, he said, like, oh, he's been really down, he's been really sad. And the vet was like, yeah, cavapoos are known to be wusses. So the vet was like, you can take him off his pain medication, he's absolutely fine, he's just being a bit of a wimp. And I was like, oh. So we called him a vet certified whinge bag, didn't we? Vet certified whinge bag for a little while. Because it took him a while to get over that, love him. But yeah, apart from that, he's a really, really good boy, and we're very, very lucky. But yeah, just a couple of things that we're still working on before we get to one, hopefully. And in our next video, probably around the 1 year old mark, we'll let you know how we're getting on with those things. So the final thing I wanted to do in this video was give a little bit of a realistic cost breakdown about how much it costs to raise a puppy. So obviously you have the initial costs of paying for him himself, paying for vaccines, paying for all of the things that you would need to get, the beds, the crates, the grooming things, his brushes, his food, his all sorts. Obviously that's quite a big cost outright, but then I thought I'd give you a bit of an idea about a monthly cost of having a dog. And so if I break that down a little bit, so first of all, probably one of the main expenses is his food. Now we do buy a high quality premium brand of food because we think that's important. And he didn't put on weight for the last couple of months, so we have sort of upped his food a little bit as well. But he has a mixture of wet and dry food, like I said earlier, from Hills. So that costs us around £40 a month. His pet insurance, we've gone with Hello Pet Insurance, I think it's called. It's a lifetime pet cover. I liked the look of this one because it said that if Rex were to get any illnesses, he would then be covered for those illnesses. So lots of insurance things. If he was diagnosed with diabetes, for example, and needed treatment for that, oh bless me, then even though he's been at lots of insurance companies would then have that as an exemption, but this insurance company would still cover him for it. Oh no, my sneeze went. It might come back. Anyway, so our insurance costs about £13 a month, which I didn't think was too bad, and we have actually already had to claim on our insurance on New Year's Eve of all the times. So we went away for a few days between Christmas and New Year with my parents and their 2 dogs, and my sister and her dog as well. So there were 5 humans and 5 dogs. But on New Year's Eve, while we were having dinner, I was like, where's Rex? He's been quiet for a long time. And where was Rex? He was in our bedroom with Dudley, one of my parents' dogs, and he really wants his dinner. I'll be quick, Rex, I'll tell the story quickly. And they had dug out of the suitcase that I'd packed some chocolate bars, and they had a nice little chomp down on them. So this was at sort of just 9:30 on New Year's Eve evening. So we called up a local vet, and luckily they were 24 hours, and £300 later he'd had an anti-sickness vaccine and he was all fine. But yeah, we did manage to claim on our insurance for that. It had a £99 excess, so we still ended up paying a little bit, but better than the £300 that it would have cost us. So yeah, we think pet insurance is really important, so we pay about £13 a month for that. Rex, like I said, as a cavapoo, needs to be groomed quite often. At the moment he goes once sort of every 6 to 8 weeks. That might have to be up to made a shorter period of time as he gets older and his hair gets a bit longer and curlier. But at the moment we pay £35 for a groom every 6 to 8 weeks. Yeah, and he comes back so fluffy and cute. Yeah, so we like that, and obviously we just give him a bath every couple of weeks in between just to keep him smelling fresh. But yeah, he's a really good boy at the groomers, so that's nice. So as well as Rex's pet insurance, we also have a monthly subscription through Pets at Home for his flea, tick and worm treatment. It comes in the post once a month, and that costs us £7.65 with Pets at Home. It was really easy to set up. I just went into one of their stores, gave all the details, and they suggested what products Rex would need. And then we pay, like I said earlier, we have a dog walker, dog sitter for when Craig isn't here and needs to go into the office. So we usually use her about once a month, sometimes twice a month, but each time we pay £15 for a 45-minute walk, and then we often pay another £10 for a home visit as well. So that costs us about £25 a day when we need it, which is quite reasonable. She does an absolutely great job. She keeps us updated with pictures, and yeah, it's just lovely. It gives us a good update every time she sees him, so that gives us sort of peace of mind if we do have to leave him for the day. And then I've put a sort of miscellaneous category. I'm obsessed with buying him harnesses, and I love buying him new toys. He's got far too many toys, although he ruins them at the same rate that I buy them, so he hasn't got too many at the moment. So I probably spend roughly about £30 on extra little bits and pieces, just because he's my little prince who really wants his dinner. I'm coming, I promise. I'm at the end now. So yeah, I would say that roughly Rex costs us about £140 a month, give or take, depending on whether he's had a groom that month or whether he's not due a groom. But yeah, roughly around the £140 mark to raise our 8-month-old cavapoo. So thank you so much for watching our 6 months of Rex. Well, he's 8 months old, but 6 months at home with us video. We hope you liked it. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to see any future Rexy content. If you've fallen in love with Rex, like I am absolutely deeply in love with him, then you can also follow him on Instagram. I will put his Instagram handle. Are you trying to get away from me now? I'll put his Instagram handle on the screen below. And yeah, we post a bit more regular content about Rex over there, and very cute pictures and the occasional cute video as well. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna say bye, Rex. I'm gonna give a paw wave. Bye, everybody.